Hello, I am in Heemzetelaan in the Dutch city of Utrecht. And I will be cycling towards the Dutch town of Weesp near Amsterdam. And then Weesp, a new suburb that is being built. Afterwards I head to Amsterdam itself and get back to Utrecht by Hilversum. We are gonna use a scoring system where its helpful feature I encounter in this ride is a +1, while anything dangerous or time consuming is a -2. So let's teleport to Utrecht Centraal, where we are on a fietsstraat, cycle street, with no motor vehicle access, and there is a lane for bicycles to wait for the upcoming direction while turning left. The light is red because a bus just passed and another one is detected down the corner, but the traffic control system detects the bus taking a long time and it lets me pass by making the light green for 4 seconds. Thanks, traffic control system. By the way, in case you didn't know, the canal you see here on the right was actually recently restored. Before it served as a highway for cars. So I have to wait a long time for pretty much no reason. Finally. The construction here at the left is ongoing in order to improve road safety, make the space greener, update cycling infrastructure, enhance walkability, stimulate local business and community life, modernize utilities and infrastructure in general, and encourage residents to use bicycles, buses or walk for short trips. At this point the reconstruction is blocking the cycle path, but there's a temporary bicycle lane with proper separation from motor vehicles. The Zeeroofway suggests one-way bicycle paths to be at least 2 meters wide, which is why this cycle path is built right now, and it's going to be 2.5 meters wide, with a 40 centimeter brick buffer to separate it from the road, which is now lowering its speed to 30 km per hour. Over here the cycle path has been left untouched, while the other parts are still under construction. I added a point because this clearly shows that they are thinking about cyclists first. The new car lanes will only be 2.6 meters wide, with a 50 centimeter brick median in between. Now at this intersection there has already been detected a woman on a bicycle, but when the traffic control system detects this man behind her, it gives priority to the bicycles. And there's an island in the middle that you can stay in case you cannot get through the lights. Here this bus stop has been designed properly, because the bus shelter is located away from the cycling path to avoid conflict between bus riders and cyclists. This design actually used to be quite fancy a few years ago, but it has now become standard and it's expected to be placed everywhere. We continue in this bicycle lane with generally smooth surface that I cannot complain about. But I'll do it anyways because there are a few bumps now here and there. Upon detection of the person in front, the light becomes green immediately. This road is called the Amsterdamse Straatweg, because it used to go to Amsterdam, at least that's what Google says. Another great bus stop here. Here at the right is a small plaza, but in any other country this could likely be a private yard or parking lot. And here's another correct design stop. Okay, now this is really bad. There is no traffic light for cyclists at all, so I'm not even detected, but most importantly this intersection is not protected at all. I can think of a lot of ways this intersection could remove this light, so I hope this area is gonna be redesigned soon, because this is currently the worst one yet. And this is the best continuous sidewalk yet, where it sends an extremely clear message that this space is for people. The sidewalk here is pretty bad though. Thankfully in the Netherlands wheelchair users use the cycle path, but still, this is a working problem though, so I will not remove any points. At this part of the road, the greenery on our left makes for a really nice experience. Although the cycle path is usually placed above, not below the road surface, in order to protect cyclists from any speeding vehicle that may come off the road. I will not remove points though, because the speed limit is 50. Here this car can wait for me and then continue without blocking the cycle path at all. We can now see the Amsterdam-Rijnkanaal at our left. And the houses on the right here look very beautiful. Also the exit from the store has a raised narrow path, which makes drivers slow down and yield. And I like the small canal at the right. It reminds me a bit of the small canals in Europaplatz in Freiburg. And here we have another up to standard bus stop design, though I suspect this is for the business auto rides because there's no sidewalks, or where will pedestrians walk? I don't know, but I did hear of the bus and swim on a nice summer's day. Here there is no traffic crossing, so immediately once I am detected, the light turns green for me. Unfortunately though, this design forces pedestrians to cross the cycle path, which is a problem because pedestrians will mostly care not to miss the bus rather than, yield to cyclists. This bridge is steep, but at the same time it does provide a clear separation, so I'm not gonna add or remove points. Unfortunately here though, the road acts as a grijze weg, where it tries to combine residential activities with the traffic of the distributed road. But there is a cycle lane protected from motor vehicles, so I cannot remove points. Unfortunately here, those cars are parked on the cycle lane. And here we arrive at the roundabout. This roundabout is generally up to standard. There is a raised crossing for cyclists where cars have space to wait, and the speed limit is only 30 km per hour. We continue into a residential side road. At this point the street is model filtered, so that car traffic is kept low. And here there is space to wait for both directions. I don't know what exactly happened in this turn, I have had better stability in the past. This street is quite wide for Dutch standards, but since internationally it is a really nice street, I will not remove points. Here at our left I enter a dedicated cycle path, which goes between a 30 km street, a pedestrian path with cyclists permitted, and an actual cycle path. For those clinchers, pavers, would be better to be saved for a pedestrian plaza. Here the path is designated for walking dogs, but of course it's pretty easy to cycle through due to the low foot traffic. And isn't that beautiful? You only get to see this once per year. So I would like to see some red tulips as well. Here this is a 30 km limit two-way street, but private motor vehicle access is prohibited from entering. So it's only used from farmers, I assume, with special licenses, surely garbage trucks, delivery trucks and obviously emergency vehicles. And from time to time there is space to wait if you see some of those vehicles. Here's the garbage truck that picks up the trash from those yellow bins. And here is a model filter. After a quick stop to check something on my bicycle, we are back on. And here's another space to wait for a vehicle. This is starting to get boring on camera, but it is quite nice to be in this place, where you can cycle alone and feel you're alone with nature. As you can see here, the design of those streets makes drivers go slowly, which is really safe for cyclists. Here the view is a bit more open and there are trains passing at the left occasionally, which make it a bit more interesting, I must say. And I'm gonna add a point for the good visibility. Actually, see if you can spot all the trains that passed and write me down in the description with timestamps. The first one to write them down is gonna win a month free of Patreon membership. After some time of cycling, we eventually reached this area, where I stopped to change my GoPro battery. Another point for another good visibility. Okay, so I'm not gonna do this every time, because it's pretty expected in the Netherlands, but I'm gonna add a point here for this overpass, because there's a lot of countries that would just require you to cross 6 lanes of car traffic. 1 point here for the model filter. The trees here are nice, although when I went from Amsterdam to Hilversum back, it was raining here. I don't want to add a remove point, I just want you to see how satisfying this is. Whee! People in the Netherlands are generally aware that cyclists could be anywhere, so they're always careful and move aside. This itself may not be exactly good, but it makes pedestrians more careful in general. Eventually we reach this crossing with vehicles. Here is a point for median. But here I'll have to remove 2 points because the speed on this road is 80 km per hour And the only thing that separates it from the cycle path with the road is this cross here, which is not exactly high quality separation. And this intersection is extremely dangerous. Vehicles can enter at an incredible speed, but I'm not gonna remove points in every intersection because this road is really old and simply not up to standard. Ironically though, once we reach a 30 km zone, they're fenced between the road and the cycle path. And this intersection is raised with clear cycling priority. Oh, this stone separation is really unique. At this point, speeds get low enough that you don't need dedicated bicycle infrastructure. This is +1 because the speed enforced by the design is about 25 to 30. Unfortunately though, since this is the same road that we had before us, this street now tries to combine local traffic and the intercity traffic, which exposes cyclists to high traffic volume. Here we have a raised crossing. This is safe for pedestrians because cars have to slow down anyways, so they will let them cross more likely, but it is also safe for cyclists because it slows them down, the cars that are basically behind them. Here I was not really sure what I need to do. You're supposed to cycle through the parking lot, which is not really safe, and into the cycle path, but since it does give you an access to a cycling path and there really aren't many other ways you could do that, I'm not gonna remove nor add points here. Nice, finally one time the wind is pushing me forward. Eventually this path turns right. And this is probably the worst point of our entire route, where we are entering a wide path for vehicles without any dedicated infrastructure, not even painted bicycle carriers. Like, what? I don't even know how old this road is. At least the traffic is low. And in the end of the road there is a cycle path, which is not of the highest quality, but it connects to a better one. And now we're just outside of Weesp. And I'm gonna add a point here because this cycling network in Junction is one up to extremely high standards. So here this ride ends. Next time I'll try cycling a shorter distance, such as for example Houten, although even after 40 kilometers of cycling, we have a score of positive 17 points. Thank you for watching anyways. If you would like to get access to more videos, such as the video about Freiburg, visit patreon.com/thedailyfreedom.